Once again, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is your boy Lewis, and I am back once again on the Lewis Basketball Network, and I am back once again with another banger with yet another video. Before I get started, in terms of, I am going to do like a video in terms of like the 2019 NFL draft, pre-draft that's coming up, and then, the teams that got the number one pick. We know that the New Orleans Pelicans got the number one pick, but I wanted to do this really quick because in that last video that I did about Steph Curry and Kevin Durant, I'm making this for people to understand. Earlier, a couple of weeks ago, I said Kevin Durant was the best player in the game. The reason I said that was because of how much the Warriors bench is more depleted and how he was carrying the Golden State Warriors. When I look at what Steph Curry is doing, Steph Curry reminded me as to why things are so much easier for Kevin Durant. And I'm going to explain it again in this video, ladies and gentlemen. I don't blame Kevin Durant for the poor spacing that the Oklahoma City Thunder did to Kevin, because what he did was impressive to be able to win 4 consecutive scoring titles in Oklahoma City, because he can get his shot pretty much anywhere. Now, I already know KD fans are going to say, well, Lewis, you're pretty much making my point that Kevin Durant is better than Steph Curry. I never said that Steph Curry is the better individual player than Kevin Durant. Like in terms of like individual, like for a guy like to get his own shot the way that Kevin Durant can, Kevin Durant is better than Steph Curry. I said that. But what people are failing to realize is how much easier Steph Curry makes it for Kevin Durant. Look how much, and this is what we have to look at the difference between these two players. When Kevin Durant, defenses were able to key in on Kevin because he was the primary scorer on the Oklahoma City Thunder, despite the fact that he had to share my turn, your turn, isolation situation duties with Russell Westbrook. And because of that, they didn't have the shooting, which I blame management. They didn't put shooters to space the floor. And Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook are not guys who are going to help space the floor. Russell Westbrook is a guy who plays tunnel vision. I've said that time and time again, ladies and gentlemen. I don't blame Russell Westbrook for management doing a poor job of surrounding these two players with the shooting. That's what they've lacked for years. And that's why I said Oklahoma City, for a championship team, for the small window that they had, even though they were going to the Western Conference Finals almost every other year, the problem is every single time they ran into better teams that had more spacing. If you look at the Miami Heat, spacing, with the exception of 2012 against San Antonio. See, people forget that the Thunder, they were actually spacing the floor in that series. They actually took a page out of San Antonio's book and they were moving the basketball. And it was actually pretty basketball to watch. It was like they used their talent, but they were using X's and O's. They were like running plays. That's how they were able to beat San Antonio in 2012. They got away from that when they went to the NBA Finals. They relied too much on Kevin Durant and on Russell Westbrook. The ball stopped moving with the Thunder, and they tried to rely on talent. Now, once again, I'm already on record of saying that series was a little bit kind of biased towards the Miami Heat. I'm not going to say completely, but they possibly could have won the first 2 games at home if it had not been for that bogus non-foul call in Game 2 on KD by LeBron James, because that was a clear foul. But what I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, is this. Steph Curry, his ability to space the floor by himself, okay? Obviously, you got Klay Thompson as your right-hand man in your right wing because he has the ability to make shots. Is Klay Thompson going to get the same type of shots that Steph Curry gets? Take Steph Curry off the team. You're going to focus now more so on Klay Thompson. Let's say that Kevin Durant is not there. You're going to focus more on Klay Thompson. For example, also, let's say that Curry's off the team and Kevin Durant is with Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, and the rest of them. What happens to the offense? The offense becomes more ISO ball dominated. Guys are really not moving without the basketball. Klay's not going to get the same type of shots that Steph Curry gets, that Kevin Durant gets, in terms of like Kevin Durant could create his own shot and he could get his shot off anytime he wants. Klay Thompson is not really a more off the dribble player. He's somewhat improved in that, but he's not a guy who you're going to say to go get me a basket every single time. Kevin Durant could do that, but Klay Thompson can't do that. Klay Thompson is one of the greatest shooters of all time, okay? With Steph Curry, top shooting backcourt in NBA history, no question about it. But remember how Klay's game is predicated. It's predicated of what Steph does, for the most part. He's not going to get the same looks as when Steph Curry's not on the floor, and then it's easier for the Warriors to be defended because now, defenses could key in on Kevin Durant. They could either do one or two things. They can either zone on KD, but then at the same time, it's like, well, we got these other shooters on the team. They take Klay out the game by saying, yo, we are not going to even let him touch the ball to get open shots. And that's what I'm trying to get you guys to understand. The impact of how easier Curry makes it for Durant. I'm not saying that Durant doesn't make it easier for Steph Curry. Steph Curry doesn't have to have a bigger workload. Those guys complement each other is what I'm saying. It's kind of like the argument with Shaq and Kobe. It's always like, well, Kobe needed Shaq to win the championships. And I've already been record as saying that Shaq is the best player. But I said, how many championships has Shaq won? He's won 4. And he's won them with the second and third best shooting guard in NBA history. So the fact that people love to be biased and just say that Shaq was the best player and he carried all these guys to championships is just false. And Shaq was not even in his prime when Dwayne Wade went off in the finals. Yes, Shaq was very important, but Dwayne Wade was the man in 06 with those unbelievable performances. And again, his team allows him to do it because they give the ball to him and he's able to create. And like I said, you don't no one man wins a championship. But like I said, you could be the standard bearer. You could be the stamp on the series. So, of course. But with Steph Curry, this is why I say that he's the best in my opinion. Like, I know people are going to get mad at that. I know fanboys are going to get upset and that you obviously don't even know basketball. Listen, it takes a team to win a championship. But your best players are the ones that put a stamp on a series. Kevin Durant, once again, taking away nothing from KD. KD balled out in the 2017 and 2018 NBA Finals and won back-to-back Finals MVPs on 50, 40, 90s. Taking nothing away from him. But once again, do you look at the spacing from the 2016 Western Conference Finals to the 2017 NBA Finals? Did you see how much JR and the rest of the team ran to the Steph and Klay because they were fearing the three-point shots? How many driving lanes did Kevin Durant get in the half court and on the fast break? Watch the games. Watch the games. I can't tell you, I remember that game 1 when they won 113-91. The Warriors had, I believe, over 60 points in the paint. But Steph and Klay were so preoccupied. Yes, we could say that Kevin Durant obviously put them over the top because, again, he's a transcendent player. He's an unbelievable player. But look at the other side. Look how easy it was for KD to get easy baskets. Yes, he can make unbelievable shots. We know that. But his efficiency went through the roof with how much space he had to operate. And that's what the Golden State offense does. It allows you to space. It allows the floor to be spaced. Because of Curry's ability to shoot, the defense has to zone back. They said we got to pressure that guy from half court. When they double Curry, how many times? Look at it this way. Look at this last series with the Rockets. The Rockets were switching everything. Yes, Steph Curry struggled. Yes, Klay Thompson struggled. Kevin Durant was carrying the Warriors. Part of the reason was because of their depleted bench. Do you people forget that the Warriors lost 7 players on their team to get KD? Do people forget that Harrison Barnes struggled in the NBA Finals? That dude could not hit a shot to save his life. I believe in the last 4 games of the series, LeBron got to sag off on defense because of Barnes' inability to make shots. Like, yes, Steph Curry struggled. I'm not making excuses for Steph Curry. Steph Curry was made a behind-the-back pass in a crucial turnover in game 7. Of course. He was 6 for 19 in game 7. I'm not making excuses for Steph Curry. That's not what I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen. What I'm telling you is Steph Curry has had moments where he did not ball out. Moments. The problem is people are saying that he does it on a consistent basis, and that's just not true. And that's what these guys are still trying not to understand. And I'm telling you, this is why I have a change in opinion. If you look at Kawhi Leonard, what style of basketball is he playing now? He's playing more ISO. Kyrie Irving, what does he play? ISO. In certain stretches, LeBron is really playing ISO with his system because he always likes to get that switch, correct? Russell Westbrook and Paul George, ISO. Russell, drives to the basket. Yes, he gets passes, but let's be real. And he also does a lot of pull-up shots, but that's more so, again, that's by self. The ball's really not moving. When Russell moves the ball, it's to get it to an open shooter when he doesn't really have a chance to make a play, or he defers to Paul George, and Paul George goes ISO. Victor Oladipo, ISO. That's what I'm trying to, James Harden, ISO. Chris Paul, to a degree, ISO. Damian Lillard, he's grown into the role of being more facilitator and a more better team player, but before, ISO. That's what I'm trying to get you to understand, ladies and gentlemen. And like I said, even with Steph Curry, listen, man, I'm not sitting here saying that Steph Curry is an all elite defender. I'm not saying he's an all NBA defender. Steph Curry, to me, is probably never going to make an all defensive team. But to sit here and say that Steph Curry doesn't have a chance to be the best because he tries on defense. He's not the best defender. KD's a much better defender than Steph Curry. But let's remember this. Kevin Durant himself said, I did not know how to play basketball until I joined the Golden State Warriors. It's easier for me to be on the defensive end because of what these guys do, right? Because of what I'm surrounded with. He said this, ladies and gentlemen. Some of you are going to say, well, he's just being modest because he knows he's better than all these guys. If you want to say that, that's fine. But to those who are really trying to understand my video, I'm trying to say this. It's like people are disrespecting Steph Curry. This is not Kevin Durant's team. You can't come into somebody's team and then you're saying that you're Batman because all of a sudden, because the floor is more space for you to operate, all of a sudden that you're, the guy. Everybody knows that KD is the best player on the team. We know that. We know that. But Steph Curry impacts Kevin Durant's game than a lot of people realize, and they're choosing not to see it. And people are so fixated on looking in through one perspective. You're looking through one lens, ladies and gentlemen, and that's not what I'm trying to tell you. Look at it from both sides. People are just saying, well, you don't know nothing about basketball because Clay has to defend the best guards. Well, if you're going to say that, if Clay is one of the best two-way players in the game, and I give him respect for that, once again, if Clay is the guy on the team, is he going to get the same baskets that he's allowed to get when he plays with Steph Curry? I'll wait. And that's why I'm saying that. I said it in the last video. Austin Rivers himself said this, that he's changed the game. He's got people thinking that he is coming in here and shoot threes. Look what Curry does on the team. Brother, he can be a decoy. He sets screens. Kevin Durant has started to set screens. He wasn't really doing that in Oklahoma City. Part of that is I blame coaching. I'm not blaming that on Kevin Durant. I'm blaming that on coaching. I'm not mad at Kevin Durant for leaving. I said I pretty much have gotten over it. I'm just saying, like, you have to look at it from that perspective. And I already said that Kevin Durant should stay with the Golden State Warriors. I'm looking at it from both perspectives. It's just that people are just getting upset because they're like, oh, man, you're being a fanboy right now. You don't know basketball because what do you mean that Kevin Durant's the best player? No. Watch. Keep your eyes open. I'm a victim at times. Again, no person is perfect, man. I'm a victim at times when I said, look, Kevin Durant is the best player in the world because I saw the way the team was struggling because of the fact that their bench was not that great. Curry is great individually. He gets the most attention on the team. To say that Curry was not the best player on his team is ridiculous because before Kevin Durant joined the Warriors, who was the person running the show? Steph Curry. Steph Curry was running the show. I mean, 2016 doesn't ring a bell. Unanimous MVP. 2015 won his first MVP award, leading the Warriors to 67 wins. Steph Curry's the cornerstone. Him and Klay Thompson are the cornerstones of the Golden State Warrior franchise, along with Draymond Green. Why do you think Draymond Green makes all-star teams? He made an all-star team before Kevin Durant joined, but that's because he plays on the Golden State Warriors. Draymond is a very good player. He's a great defender. He's the heart and soul of the defense, emotional leader. But let's face it, we're talking about leadership. I mean, and I'm just talking about on the court stuff. So that's what I'm trying to get you to understand, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not trying to listen. You could get mad at me all you want. You could, like I said, if you disagree with me, that's fine. Just keep it respectful. That's the problem. You know, to call me a hypocrite because I see things differently from what I'm watching is beyond ridiculous. He knows you know who I'm talking about. You know who I'm talking about. And so, like I said, because my issue is that you can't be looking things from, like I said, from a perspective of a fanboy. I got no problem with you being a fan of a player, but you got to be objective about that. With Steph Curry, I've already said, Steph Curry has a tendency to disappear in big moments. Steph Curry has a tendency to try to be too cute and turn the ball over, be making behind-the-back passes when he shouldn't be. He has a tendency to get into foul trouble. He had a tendency to slack on defense. I never said anything that Curry doesn't do any of those things. But what I'm telling you is that you got to put respect on Steph Curry's name. Oh, he's just a shooter. If you're just looking at Steph Curry shooting threes, then you haven't really been watching basketball. I mean, or Kevin Durant. I could tell you there's many times where Kevin Durant keeps his eyes on the rim and fails to box out. I've gotten on Kevin Durant on his defense. I've gotten on Steph Curry on their defense. That's how you be objective. You get on guys. You don't just do favoritism. All of a sudden, I don't know basketball because I'm looking at things differently. Zip. And what I did, ladies and gentlemen, was to make a fair assessment of both players. Okay? You could tell me that, oh, you're going to see down the line that you were wrong and that Kevin Durant is the best player and yada, 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 yada. Because what's going to happen is if Kevin Durant leaves the Golden State Warriors, unless there's another player that's going to follow Kevin Durant, and Kevin Durant shows he can lead a team to a championship, the media is setting up Kevin Durant to fail because they want him to leave so badly. But at the same time, KD is going to keep that narrative that he is the best player because he's on the Golden State Warriors and he always has to carry them. That's what's going to happen with the media. They're the ones who are the prisoners of the second. They're the ones who are the prisoners of the moment. I can say something when I look at something and I say, okay, you know what? You know, it sounds like that, you know, he's really good and from what I've noticed about him. But then the more you look deeper into something, you kind of, there's things that start to click in your head and you're like, wait a minute. Wow. So the reason that he does this is because A and B are the result of that. So it's a cause and effect. And so that's what I'm trying to tell you guys. They're both great players. They both complement each other very well. The reason I'm saying Steph is better, listen, he's not a better defender than Kevin Durant. I never said that. I never said Steph was an elite defender. I just said that he tries on defense. And I've seen many times where he's played good, solid defense and people want to trash him saying that he doesn't defend. I mean, Steph Curry has never made an all-defensive team. Neither has Kevin Durant. And Kevin Durant's played, 12 years in the league? Because some guys keep talking like if Kevin Durant has been some defensive player of the year, which he never has been. Neither. Just like when I say who's better between Kevin Durant and LeBron, I said LeBron has had the better career than Kevin Durant. If we want to go career-wise, LeBron is better. But right now, at this present time, Kevin Durant is better than LeBron James. Oh, you don't know what you're talking about, Lewis. You're being a fanboy. You don't know nothing about basketball. LeBron has always been the best. I'm going to say this again about LeBron James. How many years has it been since he last made an all-defensive team? He stopped playing defense in the prime of his career. People focus on his offensive numbers when I told you that a lot of those numbers are empty stat. Well, especially this season, in his empty stat season, Because 27, 8, and 8 on 51%, I'm telling you, I will murk that narrative easy money. I will murk it so fast. So fast. LeBron is a great player and he's one of the greatest. If I hated on a guy like LeBron James, I would say he's not even a top 50 player. That's hate. But I'm telling you right now, I'm sticking to my opinion that Steph Curry is better than Kevin Durant. I don't care who doesn't like it. Like I said, you gotta look deep into detail. People could nitpick in terms of, look what Kevin Durant has done, this and it. That's fine. In your opinion, Kevin Durant is better? That's completely fine. In my opinion, Steph Curry's better, and I explain why. You have to understand that as great of an individual player as Kevin Durant is, he would not have finals MVPs had he not joined the Golden State Warriors, and that's a fact. That's a fact. Tell me what other team do you think Kevin Durant could have won a championship with the play style of the Golden State Warriors and win a championship? With the play style of the Golden State Warriors and win a championship. Because part of the reason that Kevin Durant did not win championships was because of the poor spacing that the Oklahoma City Thunder had. He took tougher shots in OKC than he has in Golden State. Why do the Houston Rockets continue to guard Steph Curry and not Kevin Durant? Can you answer that question? Why do teams focus more on Steph Curry and to a certain degree Klay Thompson than Kevin Durant? I'm going to say it again. Go back to the 2017 NBA Finals. How many open drives to the basket did Kevin Durant get in that series? That was not predicated off of Kevin Durant. There were certain ISO situations where Kevin drove to the basket that he was able to get his own without really the defense going over him. How many times did I see J.R. Smith or Iman Shumpert or Kyrie Irving so focused on the three-point shooting of Steph and Klay that Durant got easy drives to the basket, especially on the fast break? And if you look at the Warriors last night against Portland, did you see how much confusion they caused the Blazers with their sets? There was at one point where they were so focused on Steph Curry, they didn't even see, I think, Iguodala or was it Kevon Looney get an easy dunk. I remember Steph Curry came off a pin down and he was going to curl back to the three-point line in the corner. All of a sudden, that guy goes to cheat off of Draymond because he was going to go follow Steph to try to double team him. Guess what happens? One little zip pass and that guy gets an open shot. You're like, wait, how did that happen? And then you're like, oh, shoot. They were so focused on getting to Steph that they forgot about their man and he got an easy basket. And if you notice the Warriors in the postseason, they have focused more on mid-range shots because their threes are not fouling and points in the paint. And their fast break points are pretty high up too. The bench players don't get that many opportunities when Kevin Durant is on the floor. Now that he's out, now that Boogie Cousins is out, Steve Kerr has got to go to a much larger rotation. Excuse me. The Warriors don't have a sixth man right now because of the fact that the Iguodala has to come off the bench and start, so he's playing more minutes. Now, once did I ever say that Kevin Durant is not great? That dude is one of the best ever, man. And when he goes down to seeing how many championships he could win, man, it's like, remember, the media is doing this against Kevin Durant because they've disrespected him as well. Steph Curry and Kevin Durant are victims of the media. They flip-flop on these guys so much that you never really know who to cheer for. And then it's kind of like what happens is sometimes fans tend to get pinned going against one another because of what the media has done to both KD and Steph because they're teammates. But the bottom line is this. Both guys are great players. Both guys complement each other. Both guys are victims of the media. They hate them so much because they can't stand the fact that LeBron James, their lovable boo, okay? The man who they can picture in a dress and can't wait to marry the man on their wedding day in their lovable dreams is not winning championships. Steph Curry won one on LeBron's watch. Oh, but they didn't have Kyrie and Kevin Love. Well, in 2015. Well, what happened in 2016? with a more injured Warriors team. Andrew Bogut goes down in Game 5. Draymond Green is suspended for Game 5. Steph Curry has a MCL sprain, and you could tell he wasn't the same player. His spots would come and go in the playoffs after the injury, coming back. Iguodala with back spasms, not being the same player. And did I make excuses for the Golden State Warriors? I said they lost. They choked the 3-1 lead. That's the bottom line. But notice how many excuses LeBron always gets when something goes wrong. Every single time. Oh my God, how can you hate on this man? How could you give so many excuses for this man? Never hold LeBron accountable. With Kevin Durant, I hold him accountable for that 2016 Western Conference Finals series. I hold Curry accountable for the 2016 NBA Finals. Curry has had some unbelievable series in his career. It just doesn't get talked about because a lot of times they focus on Curry's NBA Finals. And quite honestly, the worst finals that he played was 2016. In 2018 and 2015, the keys to his finals being bad, and 2017, was one game. He's had one bad game where he shoots the ball very poorly and it affects his percentages. But I'm going to do a video on that as to show you what Curry's numbers would actually look like if he didn't shoot poorly in just one of those games, which tells you that Curry does ball out in the NBA Finals. 2016 was his absolute worst. But 2015, 2017, and 2018, he's been there. He's been there. It's just the 50, 40, 90s of Kevin Durant have just overshadowed what Curry's done. Curry's actually had very good overall NBA Finals numbers. But the media is not going to talk about that. They're just going to hate on Steph Curry, and they just say, because he's not a great defender. And like I said, certain fanboys of certain players, whether it's James Harden or Kevin Durant or LeBron James, that's why Steph Curry gets disrespected. What I'm trying to tell you guys is, in my opinion, he's the best, and I'm telling you why. And I'm also saying why Curry's one of the more disrespected players, and people need to put respect on his name. I don't see if there's anything wrong with that. You could say I clearly don't know basketball, but okay, that I don't know basketball. But keep it respectful. Like, if you want to say, well, I understand what you're saying, but I disagree, that's fine, man. I'll say I respectfully disagree, but once you start being disrespectful, then I have a problem. Because you're going to say, well, I'm not entitled to my opinion. No, you're entitled to your opinion. Just like I said, if you think Kevin Durant is the best, that's fine. And I said at one point I did, but I saw things differently after there certain things that I started to watch and notice. And I reevaluate when I look at players, and I'm just like, okay. For example, look at Kyrie Irving. I said Kyrie Irving got a bad rap for that. He didn't get a chance to lead his team because he was injured. What happened this season? What happened when they lost to the Bucks in the playoffs? I said Kyrie Irving displayed poor leadership. I said Kyrie Irving played terrible in the semis. And I said Kyrie was very selfish. If I was biased, I would have said you can't put the blame on Kyrie. Like, Kyrie did everything he could, and it's like, all those other guys, they didn't make shots or whatever, and I would just try to finger point and put the blame on them, like on Terry Rozier. And I'm saying a lot of those guys again. Rozier, Brown, and Tatum, they should have known their role and shut their mouths and just, again, try to do it. But like I said, I don't give Kyrie Irving a pass. Kyrie Irving was horrible in this series. Kyrie shot the ball terrible. Well, like I said, what I would have done is I would have played more minutes for Rozier to see what he can do. That's all I'm saying. But I hold players accountable, man. And that's the problem with what I'm noticing about a lot of fans. Like, a player could literally be bad, but it's like they try to find an excuse somewhere. And it's like, yo, I'm not trying to find excuses, man. I'm telling you, you got to hold these guys accountable when they do something. Like I said, I like Curry. I like Durant. I'm just saying, from what I've seen, just because Curry's not the best defender, it's like what I said before. We have to go back and revisit the conversation of what determines to be the best player in the game. It's a new conversation, and part of it is because of the era that we're in now. It's so crazy how many isolation players we have for a league that's supposed to be predicated on the three ball. And even then, so there's a lot of guys that attempt threes because of the era they play in. Partly isn't due to what Steph Curry has done. Steph Curry is the best shooter in NBA history from 30 to 35 feet. The league is caught up to Golden State because has closely caught up in shortening the gap of the style of play. So to say that Curry doesn't impact the game is ridiculous. If you got little kids out here wanting to be like Curry shooting threes, when they take the ball, like I said, crumple up a piece of paper and shoot in the trash can and go Curry. Before, who was it? That snake, Black Mamba? Kobe. Do we say, oh, LeBron? No, we don't. But ladies and gentlemen, man, this is once again Lewis with another video. I just gave a detailed, much more broad breakdown of Kevin Durant and Steph Curry and why Curry's attention is why Kevin Durant gets the looks that he does. That's what my message was. I'm not trying to disrespect or hate on those players, but I'm telling you that Curry impacts the game in ways that you can't imagine because, again, the attention that he gets allows KD to do what he does. KD is unbelievably great individually, of course. I'm not saying that. You have to understand that that's not Curry's play style. If Curry's play style was like Kevin Durant, you could have a kind of stronger case. And another thing that we tend to do a lot is we compare a 7-foot small forward to a 6'3" point guard. We tend to do that too. The reason that I can compare LeBron James to Kevin Durant is because they play the same position and they're similar in size. Now, you could say that Kevin Durant says, Kevin Durant says Steph Curry is the best player. Other guys will say, well, he's just being modest and being a good teammate, but we all know that KD is the best player. Okay, that's fine. You can believe that. I'm just saying, in my opinion, and there's people out there are going to tell you, in their opinion, Steph Curry is the best. That's it. You could say that I'm delusional. You could say that I have no clue what I'm talking about. You could say I'm being a hip. No, man. No. I told you, I watched and realized a lot more when I looked deep into that Warriors team. Remember that they were the best show on earth before KD even arrived. It really takes a lot and really takes time to think, to realize, like I said, how important it is to pay attention to detail. Shout out to Kobe Bryant. And really focus on what is it that makes these players so good and what is it that causes their weaknesses. Because even then, you could even still put weaknesses for Curry and Durant. With Durant, you could kind of get in his head. People say no. Kevin Durant's done a better job. But I told you earlier in the video, ladies and gentlemen, Kevin Durant likes this Warriors team not only because of the style of play, mentality. That's what he said. Pull up with those receipts, ladies and gentlemen. Steph Curry, if you're physical with him, he can't really impact the game. Knows it. But look at the flip side. What does that tell you? Curry gets a lot of attention. Kevin Durant does not get the attention that Steph Curry does. KD's going to get that attention if he is the main guy on the team. Kevin Durant is not the main guy on the team. Even if you want to say that Kevin's the best player, he's not the main guy on the team. If Steph Curry was I'm not going to sit here and say that, like I said, Curry is the Batman and Kevin Durant's a Robin, or Kevin Durant's Batman and Curry's Robin or Nightwing. I'm not going to get into that. When you look at the totality of it, it just shows you that Steph Curry is much more impactful, how Steph Curry has revolutionized the game. And we're talking about a point guard here. That is why, in my opinion, I say he's the best. He may not be the best defender, but it's what I told you before. Curry, for a brief stretch, was showing and changing the paradigm on what a best player looks like. He doesn't have to be big. He doesn't have to be tall. He doesn't have to be strong. He doesn't have to be fast. He simply impacts the game like just about almost like no other player in the game of basketball. And you can say that he's the best player, which is why I said that, in my opinion, he is the best. That's just my opinion. Respect it. Even if you don't like it, even if you disagree with me, fine. Which is why we need to revisit the conversation on what it means to be the best player on a team, to be the guy on a championship team. Yes, I said that Kevin Durant put the Warriors over the top. But let's not forget what happened that caused Durant to be on this team as a free agent. And I said, even if I thought it was a weak move at the time, at the same time, I got over it and I said, I respect the decision at the end of the day. Kevin Durant is balled out. He's not riding this team. But remember, it starts and it ends with Steph Curry. It doesn't start and end with Kevin Durant. No matter how much you guys don't like it, it's the truth. I can't tell you how many people that said, I can't wait until KD leaves because I want to see pre-KD Warriors back. That's no disrespect to Kevin Durant. They went to 2 NBA finals without Kevin Durant. 2. It wasn't like if they had a lucky run and then all of a sudden they didn't even make the playoffs. They're like, oh, the Warriors were just a one-hit wonder. That's a lucky championship fluke. No, they proved to you that they were a great team with the system that they have. It's kind of like the San Antonio Spurs. They're going to be in it just about every single year. Look what this organization has done. They've built their team to the point that now they're about to go win their 4th championship in 5 years, and they're going to end up with more championships than the Chicago Bulls. They'll have the 3rd most championships in NBA history for a franchise. Behind who? The Los Angeles Lakers and the Boston Celtics. Think about that, ladies and gentlemen. Let that marinate. But anywho, this is your boy Lewis with another one, man. I appreciate you guys taking the time to watch my videos. Listen, whether we agree and whether we disagree, it's all love at the end of the day. As always, man, I welcome disagreements. I don't welcome disrespect. Subscribe to my channel, like the video, make sure to share this video, man. I truly appreciate it. As always, man, let me know what you guys think in the comments. As always, bless up. One love. Peace. Thanks for watching.